I think obviously captaining, you know, West Ham and Northern Ireland at the same time. I was 23 at the time, so it was a fantastic honour to obviously bestowed on, you know, such a great club like West Ham. You know, Bobby Moore, following the footsteps of Bobby Moore, and you know, Billy Bonds, and you know, people like that there. So it was a fantastic honour bestowed on me, and then obviously to captain your country is obviously no higher honour. You know, so it was probably didn't win any trophies, but obviously from that point of view, that was probably the highlight. I think it's like anybody. You take, whether it's good or bad, you take a little bit of everything and you try and analyse it. I was always interested in that side, and you know, some mental notes. You know, whether it was how I was getting dealt with as a player or whether it was somebody in the squad. You know, you take little mental notes, whether you would have done it that way or whether you'd done it slightly different. So, but I think from a point of view of managers, you know, I probably had my best time under Harry Redknapp, who enjoyed his style of management. He treated players like men, and you know, so, and he expected you to behave accordingly. And I think normally players respond to that. There, I'm not saying all the time and all players, but you know, on the majority of the players, they enjoy that responsibility given to him. And he also made me captain at West Ham. I think Brian Horton as well, who gave me my debut at Man City, who obviously seen something in me, and was very positive about throwing me in when I was quite a young guy at Man City, and there was obviously a head of senior players like Steve McMahon and people like that there. So, you know, I was very grateful for him to do that. So yeah, I think like you say, you take a little bit from everybody, but ultimately you try and be true to who you are. Not as much. I don't like. I've never been one that liked pestering people. You know, especially Harry obviously was at Tottenham, you know, up until recently, and you know, he has a big enough job on his hands. You know, I speak to various people around the game, and you know, people like Craig Brown, you know, David Moyes, you know, Alex Smith at Falkirk. You know, people who have been around the block, who've got vast experience. So, you know, it would be remiss and stupid of me not to try and tap into a little bit of that. I think I always had designs. I wanted to become a manager, you know, even when I was 24, 25. I always thought that I loved the game and would want to stay in it in some sort of capacity. And obviously as I got older, you know, I was looking into that side of it more and more. Well, yeah, obviously I knew St Johnstone had a history of obviously giving younger managers a chance, and I think it's one of the tough things is, you know, how people say he's not experienced, but how do you get experience if you don't get the opportunity? So, you know, credit to Jeff and Steve for obviously giving me the opportunity. Obviously met them once, and then, you know, we had a second interview, and obviously it moved pretty fast from then. Well, I'd obviously when I finished playing, I went to Norwich and helped out a little bit with the youth team. Glenn Rhoda was there, who was my manager at West Ham for a period, and then I went and did non-league for about 18 months, and then I had a short spell at West Ham with the reserves, and obviously Big Sam came in and wanted his own team. So, you know, I'm always a firm believer something happens for a reason, and obviously the disappointment not getting a full-time contract at West Ham, you know, turned around to getting a full-time contract at St Johnstone, and I believe it was a blessing in disguise. Well, yeah, listen, at the end of the day, I keep hearing that there, you know, it's Derek McInnes's team, but you've still got to manage a bunch of players. You know, you've still got to come in and earn their respect to show them that you're the right man for the job. So I think sometimes it's, you know, it can be a little bit more difficult coming in when a team are doing well, because ultimately, you know, St Johnstone were overachieving, and I think they were sitting fourth when I came in, you know, so sometimes it's more difficult doing that there, you know, because ultimately the only way is normally down, and ultimately then you get tarred with that brush. But fortunately they've got a great set of boys here who who responded to me and Tommy coming in, and obviously we had a decent end of the season. We had a lot of changes in the summer, and delighted the boys that have come in, along with a core group of players that have been here for 3 or 4 years, who have done a great job for St Johnstone, bringing them up and obviously keeping them in the SPL. Listen, I've been brought up, Man City, especially when I broke into the team, we played with 2 out-and-out wingers, and we were probably a little bit too cavalier. People like Peter B. Green, Nicky Summerby, Paul Walsh, Niall Quinn, Uwe Rosler. Then went to West Ham, and we had attacking players like Freddie Canuti, Paolo Di Canio, Trevor Sinclair. So the majority of my career has been about teams that attack, and it was a focus when we initially came in. We wanted to get a bit of pace in the team, go forward pace. Obviously we brought in Lee Croft, who did a good job for us at the tail end of last season, and obviously it was one of the remits that I wanted to bring in, was pace and people that have something to prove. And we're happy that we've done that. Obviously Greg has good pace, Nigel's got good pace, Peter Pollock's got good pace, Gary Miller's got good pace. So it definitely was a remit that we wanted to obviously get into the club. It's a tough one to say, but listen, I like to have a laugh and a joke. I like the lads as a player. I wanted to be stimulated when I came in, wanted to enjoy my training, but ultimately when it's time to work, it's time to work. And but fortunately here we've got, like I say, they're almost like a throwback, the players here. They just want to come in and work, and sometimes you've got to pull the reins on them, because we have obviously a tight squad, and you want to. They put so much in games that sometimes it's about telling them, listen, back off a wee bit and give yourself a little bit more breather time. So we've got no problem there with the lads at the top rate.